Hey, welcome back into another edition here, Tony Talking Trash About Music. I'm here with Jay today, and we're here to talk about R.E.M. Both of us liked them at different times. I was in D.C. most of the time that my fandom came on. You know what they are. They're the ultimate band that brought the birds back into the consciousness of music, strum along thing. Or what that music, John always tells you, you like the music with
The
the
Jingly
strum,
Jangly Band.
with the jingling jangly band.
The
Yeah,
original
man.
guy did it.
What's your experience with these guys, man? I remember them coming up to 9:30 Club at the beginning and
Well, I had never
stuff.
heard of them, and I joined the Air Force, and I was all worried about losing my, joining the military, and will I still get into good music? And luckily, I went down to Tullahoma, Tennessee, and I made friends with the guy who ran the record store, and he turned me on. My first was Murmur. That was my first one I turned on to him, and then shortly after that, I started dating a girl. I'll get into it later, but she went to the University of Georgia, so we made a trip down there and Walter's Barbecue, and got into all the other bands. It was a really cool scene. It was about 1983 when I was running around down there, but and I joined the fan club. I got a bunch of stuff. I was just looking, found my box. I joined. They used to send you a single every year, and I
Oh
remember
my!
and Peter Buck, he used to always send out with the fan club albums, that he recommended. And like I told you, that's the only reason I have that one NRBQ album, because it was on one of Peter Buck's lists. I would buy every album on it and listen to it,
Oh,
and was never disappointed.
they were something, man. At one point, they were so big. I mean, they went
Oh
from
my gosh! And I remember, I was into them when they were just getting big. Like Jason and the Scorchers opened up for him one time. I saw him, and then I forget the other band. It's another one from the White Animals when and it was like everyone but Stipe, they played it. That's what's just that Athens, Georgia Inside Out, and they all got jammed together. But Mike Mills was probably the nicest guy I ever met in rock and roll that was famous. He actually,
uh,
he'd say, "Excuse me." I bumped into him. He turned around. That's how I realized who it was, and I ended up buying him a beer. He's
nice.
He's the one who told me Stipe wasn't there. And it was funny. It was the way he said it. I was like, Stipe, like Sting. I don't think
Nice.
he, I don't think he liked that, actually.
He called him Stipe, huh? That's
Yeah,
funny.
he was down to the
Yeah.
one name. And I'll get into it. I love that you couldn't understand what he was saying. Every song can mean whatever you want, but we'll get into
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the beginning. I was just going through that. They kind of got that niche for doing that and maybe doing the mumbling type songs as they made it big, and then they turned into a stadium band with this one goes out to the I love, and
it.
they turned up the
I'm the megaphone.
world. And
So,
then they lost their drummer, and then they continued on, kind of like the band that I was talking about today with Dino, the Who. Man, sometimes you think, well, maybe you should stop before,
yeah, like
for
Bill Berry, when Bill Berry
right.
walked it out.
That's right. That's right. That's what I'm talking about with this. So we got to start these things. Do you want me to start on them? Do you want to start on them? How do you want to do
I'll
this,
start
man?
on them. Let's go, because I'll admit, like, I only thought there was 15 albums. There were 16 albums. I'll tell you right now, the end of my list is later R.E.M. It's one of those bands, like, I grew up and they still had to have a career in making music. And each album would come out, they're changing their sound, they're developing into this, and like I just didn't. It's not. I just didn't care at the time. But anyway, my last
Yeah,
one was Collapse into Now.
internet.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's you think about this, you look at the way it was recorded in three different places. It was kind of thrown together at the end.
yeah,
At that point, I heard that Peter Buck had kind of lost interest a lot, and when he lost interest,
yeah.
and it kind of sounds like that. I don't mind it, but
And they didn't tour it.
no, it's just
Yeah,
I just think all these ones. I agree with you. It's not that there's not some bad songs there. I mean, there's it just sounds like a maturing band, but mine smell like honey, kind of the big one, and they did that one alligator
yeah.
aviator on
Like you said, it
man.
happened today when that
Yeah.
single.
Yeah. Blue was nice. The last song, the one with Patty Smith. But yeah, man, just the three of
Oh
them.
yeah,
And
Stipe was always he was always that's one of when I was getting into REM, when I found out like he was a big Patti Smith fan, that just definitely swayed me, because I was always a big Patti Smith fan.
I can vouch for that. You always were a huge Patty fan.
I got
And
everyone tickets to go, and then I couldn't go because I had to work. Spike took my ticket, and he got punched and almost knocked out by the by her bodyguard because he tried to kiss her out back of the what was that theater, in real nice theater in DC. It was
Warner Theater.
Warner Theater, yeah. But I digress. But Collapse in the Sun that's my last
Collapsing
on my list.
into now. Yeah, that's mine too. That's my number 16 too. So we just talked to that. So now on to your 15, man. I think we both have agreement at the bottom one. Drop
Probably
to the
my
next.
15 was 2004, and I remember I would buy all the R.E.M. albums. It's like Neil Young, although Neil, got when that one he recorded. I digress again, but I would buy all their albums just because that was my band. At one time, I loved them so much. But my number 15 is Around the Sun, and to tell you the truth,
Leaving
all I can remember about it is that one song about New York. Yeah.
leaving New York.
Leaving New York, yeah. I really like that one. But, I rank that as number 15 mainly because, you know, compared to when I first got into REM and would just listen to their albums 1,000 times a day and, try to listen to what they're saying to the end, that might sway my rankings of them. But my number 15 is Around the Sun,
I
2000.
got you. It's a little bit more of a band effort. My number 15 is going to be the one to me that was the shocking one that after Bill Berry left. I'm talking about Up. The one from 1998 or whatever it was. All these records, and I think Jay, when you talked about all those records together, I would agree with you. And I think one of the problems they have is rather than make a 40-minute record, every freaking one of them is like 60 minutes plus 55. They're too long. They've got too long songs, and that's this Up. A lot of people think it's more of electronic influence. I think it'd be okay if you had that. There's some drum machines and stuff, but Lotus, Day Sleeper, at My Most Beautiful, I like. Okay, Suspicion's okay, but truthfully, this is one that is. I think it's funny that that's the name of it, Up, because that's not.
No.
I got to it. It's kind of a downer. The whole record, a couple of their records are downer, but that's the first of which, and that's my number 15, Up.
Okay, so now on to my number 14. This came out in 2008, and I was actually like, I'd read about it. They're back. It's their new sound, Accelerate. And, it had that supernatural, superstitious. But then REM in the end, or in the end, on their last albums, the Stipe would have a song on there that was just so downer. And sometimes it would actually be like, the most famous song on it, and everyone else would get into it. But for me, it would define the whole album. I couldn't get over it. And that has one of those songs on there for me. Accelerate was Hollow Man. It was just this, the drone and the Hollow Man and like that one. But actually, Supernatural Superstitious was, I think that was the single. But it was just like they're back, and I'm like, it's 2008. No, they're never coming back. But that's my
I
number
agree.
14.
Same way, dude. You got that as your Accelerate as your number 14, and that's mine also. It's funny that we've matched up on two of them, but yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's the and I appreciate they try to do something different with the sound. The production of it is a little bit different. It's got that guy Jackknife Lee, whoever
Yeah.
that guy's name, lost now, but it has different sound to it. It's jangly pop again, but again, supernatural, super serious. That's decent. Man Side Wreath is decent. Until the Day is Done's okay. Hollow Man, I don't like very much, but
Hollow Man.
I like it's okay. And I don't know. It just sounds like it's a little bit harder than the one before, and it doesn't make the songs better. Just because you turn the volume up, it doesn't make the songs better, and that's what I think of this. Some people love this album. Some people think it's great.
Yep, all
One
of
to,
them, they're back.
they did the song to Keith on there called Mr. Richards. It was an homage, but again, you can't. The words are so obtuse that they don't. He could be talking about a European vacation, and it's a tribute. No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I shouldn't put it down, but yeah, not one of my favorite ones. And it's a shame that this Accelerate came later, but this is a 2008 one. And I just a lot of the things from that's in that age also, Jay, where everything was louder, louder, louder,
Yep.
louder, and like that. There's no subtleness or no softness to part of it. It's all like one big brick. Had a couple records like that. They were kind of that the songs were standouts, but they kind of hit.
Yep.
They all had this kind of thing. The Pursuit of Happiness production type of thing. Where it's all the same thing. But that's my number 14.
Okay, now up to my 13. It's number 2001. And it's the one that actually came out and they sort of had the classic sound, but it was Reveal. And I think they had that the big song on that one was the one, at least the one I remember, is All the Way to Reno is on that one. And I think I've Been High and The Lifting. It's just it was one of those albums I remember getting. And it was actually it's another thing. Towards the end, I bought all these on CD. I didn't even have the album to go in through. But my number, what would that be? 13. 16. Yes, 13 is Reveal.
Reveal, not bad, not
2001.
bad. 2001. My number 13, I'm going to go back to yours, and we've already discussed this, but I'm going to go back to the 2004 release of Around the Sun. We're pretty much on the same face. I didn't get that on vinyl. I don't have a lot of these later ones really at all on vinyl. I should. But by the time that the vinyl craze really came back into it, I was buying CDs a lot of times for a lot of this stuff that the REM, through the big era. And
Yep.
I do have some vinyl. But this is one that a lot of people didn't like. This is one that didn't did it good. But I like Leaving New York a little bit. I don't think it's that bad, but the people really didn't like it, and retrospectively, I don't think it's done very well as far as fan deals go. But you know what's interesting? I want to take a second and talk about this. This is the You want to know the chart position here. You want the U.S. chart position. Let me give you the highest U.S. chart position for these records, and it will blow your fucking mind. Murmur only got to 36,
What?
Reckoning to 27, Fables to 28, Lace Rich Pageant 21, Document 10, Green 12,
Oh god.
Out of Time 1, Automatic 2, Monster 1, Adventures in Hi-Fi 2. That's shocking. Up
Wow. What
3.
was Out of Time?
Reveal 6. Yeah.
Wow.
Around the Sun 13. Accelerate 2. And Collapse 5.
Wow.
Because how in the world, man?
Did they sell more? Is that just that they sold more?
Yeah,
Was
they
that
had they had more. I don't know. They had more success though after Barry died. Pretty much after Barry died. It's
that's
amazing to me.
amazing. I mean,
I never.
there
I
was
lost complete.
you flip them
Yeah.
albums around and they don't have a career.
Right. Well, that's my number 13 is Around the
Okay.
Sun. So
Okay, we're up here
you're
my number 12. It was Lux down your list, and it's weird. The only reason this is high up on mine is Up, and it was because it was so weird. It was like it reminded me of like R.E.M. goes Kraftwerk with that Airport Man and
yeah.
of
It
course
was
Lotus, and it was just so weird. And it was the first one without Barry, so I remember I have to buy it and see. And I was like sort of relieved. I'm like, okay, you don't have a drummer, so now you're gonna go electronic. It makes a little sense.
right. Yeah.
That's my
And they had
number.
all the electronic drums and stuff. I didn't really hear. It didn't have like really a band sound. It kind of sounded
No,
like an.
it just
Kind of sounded
reminded
like
me of like Southern Kraftwerk. Like if Kraftwerk had started in Capricorn Records.
yeah, produced by Eno
Yeah.
or something.
Did he
Yeah, really
produce
just
that? I don't.
wow. No, it's this other guy. It's Bill Rifkin or whatever that one
Oh my
guy's
gosh,
name.
Eno. Have you ever? Did you read Eno's book?
Huh?
Oh, I got to give it to you. He's such
I
a
have.
pompous ass. I don't know.
Surprised me.
Yeah.
I might have seen it, really, but I didn't have any idea. I didn't have any illusion we get
Oh,
some of.
oh, I know, but it's like when you talk to me about just throwing shit in a bag and pulling out words or like
Yeah.
even tasks and all, and that's ever going to make sense. I'm like, yeah, I guess maybe Ziggy Stardust and you and Bowie at one point in time that makes sense. But
I guess if you're that far from words, but my God, wouldn't you rather just communicate to
yeah,
somebody and say something?
but we
It's
digress.
hard. Wow. Than to pick up some random shit. Okay, that was your number. What is
Well,
it? My turn.
yeah, that was my number 12.
You're number 12. So ready for me to go to 12 too?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, my number 12 is one that you hit before is Reveal. I like Imitation of Life. I like that song too. That's the one. That's the one. Da, 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 but da, da, da. It's all right. I like it. It's a little long. The album's a little
Yeah.
long, but I like that song too. And I like the other one you said too, all the way to
Oh,
Reno. That's a good.
yeah.
That video is really kind of cool. They did a bunch of like desert themed like type of songs. They really like that with Man in the Moon video and all that shit.
Yeah, and their videos like got a lot more, making sense because I still have their videotapes from like their Murmur videos when it's just nothing but riding by kudzu covered buildings and Howard Finster things spinning in the background. And which I liked about it. I actually went and visited Howard Finster's house in his garden of whirly gigs. I should have bought all the shit there he had
Yeah.
for nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saturn Returns a real good song on here. I've Been High is a good song on here, and so is I like Some Returns to High after Imitation of Life. I like those two in the middle of the second side. Yeah, that's my number 12 reveal.
Okay, my number 11 came out in 94, and man, the hype for this just made sure I was going to be disappointed. It's going to be loud, but it was a monster. It was the guitar album. And to me, it was not only the guitar album, it was the guitar wah wah pedal album. Wow, it's like that was every song seemed like it had a wah wah pedal in there. Had a
I
crush
thought
with eyeliner, and then that what's the frequency, Kenneth. Then you had to go in and investigate the guy that came up to. It was just like I don't know the story behind and the critics and all. And I can't believe I was number 11. Yep, but that's my
Scott
number
Litt,
11.
produced by Scott Litt,
94,
and
right?
wow,
Monster, and it was loud. But it was just like had that almost grunge with wah wah pedal through the whole thing. Wow.
there's a lot of guitars loud in that record. No question about that, man. So that was one. What year was that from?
94.
And that's your number what?
No, number 11.
My number 11, I'm going to stick closer in time to the period we time, right? The one right after that. The first one I thought that arrived like a slab that I couldn't really tell anything to do with it. I'm talking about Ebo the Letter and Bittersweet Me and Electrolyte, How the West Was Won. What a weird record. I think it's just too, I think it's a little bit too long. It's long. Not that I would cut any of it out, but it kind of reminds me in a way of Exile, and that there's nothing that's like, they're all, it's all good, but it's not great. And you know what they did? They said they wrote this record like kind of like that Pearl Jam or Foo Fighters wanted to do that one record. They just wrote every song. They
Yeah,
went from town to town and
down
recorded,
town. This
found a studio in the town and recorded.
this
It's
the
kind of
last
wild.
one was a Bill, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of a wild way to do it. But anyway, Patti Smith, he had vocals on Ebo, of course. That was a real single, and I like that song. Something about it's kind of haunting, though. I don't know. I just got a feeling
It's
that was.
Ebo. It's Ebo, the night swimming that everybody hurts. Towards
Yeah.
the end, I'm like, I don't need to hear that song again. But
Well,
I
they get
love the
this
song too,
they're haunting.
especially Patty.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
fact,
it's
it's
been.
we're going to my number 10. That's it.
There
Nick
you go.
Ventures. That was my number 10.
That's okay.
Also, and also, I have How the West Was Won, all the keyboard and the
Oh yeah,
electronics. And like I said, it was the
yeah.
final one with Bill, so that's why it was up on mine. But and I made a note too that Patti Smith saying on that anything Patti attached herself to, which she also, that's why when anyone tries to diss my Bluister cult, I used to whip out how she used to date Alvin Lanier and wrote lyrics for a couple of their songs.
Well, Monster was the one before that, and then
Yeah,
evidently this came from after the tour, and they did that. They did that video parallel or whatever that thing was in between that period of time. But yep, that's where that was. Okay,
that
man.
was my
Well,
number 10.
that's your number 10. Well, my number 10, I don't think I got this one here. No, I wouldn't think I did that. But I'm talking about the overexposed, the lame, the good and the bad. I'm talking about Green, the album Green. I saw that tour at the 930, not the 930, at the Capitol Center. We got tickets up front. And they were so popular then. It was just ridiculous. But I mean, but we were holding up signs like we wanted to hear Odd Fellows and different songs. And I remember that Michael Stipe got really irritated here with that. But I don't think this record, the one thing good about Green is I don't think Green is too long. Orange Crush, it's kind of poppy the way they're all it's Scott Litt. It's kind of a Scott Litt thing. They hit that Get Up pop song 889 stand. It was a pop thing, but there are some good parts to it. World Leader Pretend fantastic. I remember California's good. Turn You Inside Out's not bad. So I don't mind. I don't mind at all. But at the same time, this is very pop. But again, um, crazy. But that's. But anyway, Bill Berry actually played bass guitar on both Hair Shirt and You Are the Everything.
Oh, there's
By the way, would never think that, but he did. And that's my number 10.
your number 10. So we're on be my number 9, right? My list is so out. So,
You're number 9, brother.
yeah, because you. Okay, my number 9 is Automatic for the People. And it came out in, I think, 92. Yes, it did. And one of the reasons I like for this is like early in my R.E.M fandom, like I think it was right after their third album or second album. I went to Athens, Georgia, and I went to Walter's Barbecue. And, I heard Walter say, automatic for the people. Every time he got your order, that's what he said, automatic for the people. And that's why they named their album this. I don't know if that's why it's a little higher on my list, but I always felt like, okay, feel the
Well, that's what
connection.
this is number 9.
My number 9. And
This is
even though,
9.
yeah, it was a downer album, and I really
Oh,
don't like Man on the Moon and
yeah.
Everybody Hurts and One Night Swimming. They're like three of the songs. I know every word, and I listen to them when they come on. It's like, I think I like these songs, but I want not to like them, but they're too good to stay on my conscience. But anyway, my number 9 is Automatic for the People. Shout out to Walter's Barbecue.
Yeah. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have. That's your number 9. Well, it surprises me. Okay, that's number 9.
And
Number
it's so
so
downer. Tie another on
uh,
the back.
I'm surprised it's that low. Number 9. I mean, a lot of people, it's a lot of.
Way.
But okay, hey, my number 9. My number 9.
I could swip it with my number 8. Okay, your number
39
9.
minutes, 51 seconds. Oddfellows Local 151 Behind the Firehouse. I love it, man. This is the one I heard about the show. This is Document. The record released
Wow.
in, I don't know, here it is, 87. 87. Good record. They were on fire at that point. Finest work song, Strange. The End of the World is kind of stupid. The one I love is kind of stupid. But Lightning Hopkins, Kid, King of Birds, Fireplace, the whole second side I love. Welcome to the Occupation I love. Exhuming McCarthy I like. I mean, I like pretty much, except for the hit songs. This is a, and I don't know why. I guess it kind of gets punished in my thing because it has the hit songs.
Yeah.
But but they were too big. It's too. End of the World is just. It would have been okay if it was just that, but then Billy Joel had to do his thing, and so he ruined
It just hit me now. R.E.M. was the soundtrack of my life when I got out of college. I joined the Air Force, went to Tennessee,
the.
got into them. So some of these albums, and then from Tennessee, I spent 5 years there, and then they sent me to Madrid, Spain. So I got in, so I know the R.E.M. albums that I had in Tennessee, then the ones that came out in Spain. And there's nothing like hearing R.E.M. disco-fied at the beaches at Benidorm and all. But I digress. So I'm on my number 8.
Yeah, we are
Okay.
at we're at your number 8. That was my number
Yeah,
9. We
let's
talked.
flip around. My number 8 is Green. And like, it's weird. Some of these R.E.M. albums, I look back at them, I look at the songs, and I'm thinking, why do I like this so much? Because you're not in those songs. It's when it came out. Green came out, I think, in '88. That would be like my first year over in Spain. I remember CDs had just came out, and I had to buy this in the long box. Remember those stupid long boxes they
Yeah,
sold so you wouldn't steal the CD? But
and they
I mean,
tried to pump you up. Get
yeah,
up, get
Pop
out
Song
of there.
'89 and like Get Up, You Are the Everything.
Yeah,
And what's this? Stand. I hated that song, man.
me too.
Stand. But I don't
Ruined
know
the
if I hated it because of the song or the video.
Yeah,
But
if
then
you
like,
take that song
yeah.
aside, it's
And
pretty rip.
World Leader Pretend, man. This
I
one
love that.
Spanish band, yeah, they had a disco-fied version of that, where you know how they just add the boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
and put it in the club, man. That would
I'm,
come on. It was unreal. It's about the
wow.
same time I got into the Pet Shop Boys and all that stuff. I went through my electronic disco thing. But yep, now my number 8 is Green.
Number 8 is Green. Yeah, that certainly subjected itself
Yeah,
a lot.
and
All
it
right,
didn't
man.
have an orange cover.
It did, which is kind of weird.
Oh no, it's not. Not
Doesn't make a
Darling is.
sense. Well, the big one, man, the big one, the number 8 was the one we talked about before, and I like it a little better than you like it, so it's my number 8. It's here. Crush with Eyeliner. What the frequency, Kenneth? I don't sleep, I dream. I kind of like that, that drum beat. I kind of like where they're coming from with that. the Stars Fuck Me Kitten or whatever. That's kind of
Yeah.
stupid. Bang and Blame, I liked always. I don't mind You Let Me In, You and Circus Envy. That's not bad. But those are the big ones. But yeah, man, this is a good. I got a good version of this somewhere. I forget where I bought this, but yeah, this is the one that I got for $15 or something. I got it for pretty reasonable. Yeah, I can't find all those other ones. One of these days I'll end up getting them and I'll get the rest
Yeah,
of them on.
Murmur. I mean, it had the guitars and all, but it didn't really rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like the songs, for me at least, it just sounded like it was always the wah wah pedal catching up with the grind.
yeah,
The wah wah wah.
yeah.
I mean,
It is. It's it's
and our bad thing with
effects.
R.E.M. is like if that had been a new band that just came out with that album at that time,
Yeah.
who knows what they would have said about it. But it's R.E.M. and you always got to live up to your past or be
Well, you know
compared to
what?
your past.
It, notice too, it was really mixed strangely. It was not like very balanced very well. They did. It sounded like things were really too loud. Some things were too loud.
Yeah.
Really, really jumped out. But
Okay.
anyway, that's my number.
My number seven came out in 1987. My first year in Spain. Document. And with work song and the one I love, I had a broken heart over in Spain real quick over there, the one I love. And I knew immediately it was not a song about to be played at your wedding. You know
Ah,
what I mean? It was an FU song, how to like a simple prop to occupy my time. That's how I had few
yeah,
those. But like it amazes me. They said that's one of the number one songs played at weddings. It just shows you, I'm sure they all voted for Trump. They don't get
they don't.
anything. I mean, like,
Right.
can you imagine? It's at your wedding, and you're this one goes to the one, a simple
Yeah,
prop
kind
to
of like they played.
occupy my
Yeah, and
time.
all the Patriot.
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of
I
like.
think that's one of the ultimate groupie songs. It just reminded me of Michael Stipe, like turning down groupies because there probably wasn't as many guys lining up for him as they were. The
How about
chicks
all
up
those?
Peter Buck.
Yeah, yeah. How about all those patriotic guys that think born in the they're singing "Born in the
Oh yeah,
USA."
yeah, yeah.
They
That,
don't
that
realize
came out when I was
BT.
over in Spain too, and like I had to like remind people like if you listen to the damn words,
It's about PTSD, man. It's about a
no,
guy with PTSD.
no, they're still there
So,
and he's all gone. But okay, but the one I love, but my favorite song on Document was Oddfellows Local. Oh my God,
oh,
this
me
thing,
too. I love.
it's like
Well, you
and you put it on, and, I can remember. I
love
was ever in Spain, and it was like I really didn't like the new R.E.M. album, and it bummed me out. It was this one, but even though it's still my number seven,
Isn't that funny?
I was
That's
still
your number seven.
yep.
Okay, let's go. My number seven. I'm going to go all the way back. I'm going to go all the way back to the fun time of the early time. And I must admit, I caught this after the fact. I didn't buy this when it was out, but I did buy it after the first record I bought out. And I'm talking about Chronic Town, Wolves Lower, Gardening
No,
at
at
Night,
night. I always thought
Boxcars.
gardening at night was about growing weed
I think it is.
because you'd want to be like gardening at night. Oh, I love the garden
Stumble.
wheel. Oh, I loved it.
Kind of amazing about this record is that the songs were no more developed than they actually
Oh, I
were.
know. That's what.
It's
Oh
really
my
almost
God, the mumbling,
barely there.
and it's
Yeah.
just like the humidity of the South and all. They were of the South. I'm telling you, the kudzu and crap. When I was living down there then, that's the worst weather I've ever experienced in my life, Tennessee. I mean, it's like from May to October, it's just like 85 degrees with 90% humidity every freaking day.
No way.
But so what are we on? So am I up?
It's your up, man. That's my number seven, Chronic Town.
Okay, my number six, Life's Rich Pageant. I
Oh
can
boy.
remember when that came out. I had an apartment in Tennessee with no air conditioning, but summertime fall on me and Peter Buck's guitar solo in the Flowers of Guatemala, as simple as it may be, just made me play air guitar every single time. And Cuyahoga about the river, wasn't that the river they caught on fire? And then
Yeah.
that was their
Oh,
first time they ever did a cover song and recorded. That guy
yeah, I used to buy that
Superman.
when, yeah, just Todd
I
stuff. I'd see that.
am and then but there was always one song. That's the first, I think. It probably started before that, but there was always one where I was like, man, they should have cut Stipe off on that one because Swan Swan Hummingbird. Come on, man. I know every word, and every word is stupid. I can't get it together. And it sounds like he's saying weenie skin. And that one, weenie deep and weenie skin. It's like, I'm sorry. I'm not the only one who uses that.
I never heard that one. That's fun. That's
But I
funny.
love that album, man. Flowers of
Yeah,
Guatemala, man. There's something about that stupid guitarist I let Peter Buck does. That's a time I
I
like.
love it.
That's my number six.
My number six, man. I'm going to go to the difficult one of the early ones. Da na now, da na now, bow down, down, da na na, da na na. Joe Boyd produced. Nick Drake's
We're
producer,
like one off.
and put out this record that baffled them all. Uh, Driver 8.
Oh my
I
God.
love Driver 8. I love Feeling Gravity's Pull. I love Good Advice. Life and How to Live It, the way he's just rolling on it. And music stops kind of like Beefheart. And he's just rolling completely through the break and everything. Can't Get There From There is a great song.
Oh God.
Wendell G. Funny song. I
I
like
love
this
Window
record.
G. That's one of my favorite songs. It just almost makes me
Auction,
cry, and I don't know why.
Old Man Kenzie,
Yep.
Auctioneer.
Another one.
This is Maps and Legends. This is an underrated record, and maybe I even underrated it too. That's my number. That's my number six. Maybe I feel guilty now after reading off the songs. It is my number six. Probably deserves to be higher, man.
I
Number
actually,
six.
my top six are could. I mean, any one of them could change, but it's weird. We're like one off. My number five, Fables of the Reconstruction, and that was the first tour I saw them at. It was at Vanderbilt. It was at the Vanderbilt University, wherever they have things. And I remember
Is that near Nashville?
Jason the Scorchers opened up for him. And then it was like the album had just came out, man. They opened up with Maps and Legends. And they had like these cathedral. Oh my God, Stipe was definitely involved. They had these big cathedral. I got some pictures I have to show you my friend took from that tour. But, and Gravity's Pool, that's what they opened up with. What's that?
You know what they said about this? They
Yeah.
said that when they recorded this, they went over to London, and it was cold,
Yep.
and the studio was cold, and it was dreary and drizzly, and they were like so let down. They thought they were going to go to something that was
Yeah.
cool,
I mean, that.
and they
Then they
said,
came
"Well,
out
this
with Driver 8 and like, oh my God. But I mean, Gravity's Pool. How does that? I mean, that was a good song, man. That, like I said, they opened up. They played like every song off this album on that tour. And
yeah,
this came out in '85, so that's the first time I
yeah,
saw him. I saw him in '85 and '86, and I never saw him again.
yeah." I saw him. I said after that one, maybe it was. I don't remember when, but Barry was in the band still. Maybe it
You
was
know, another
Monster.
thing I heard, and you can tell, I heard Stipe was very disappointed in however the cover turned out. And you look at that cover, it is kind of dumb, really. But it was like supposed to be something more with that thing swinging, the way it looked, 3D. But I just remember him saying every interview I'd read about him during that came out, it was like all he bitched about was the cover. When he,
That's your number. Kind of cluttered, but
yeah, but that's
but
my
it's
number five.
that's your five. Okay, my number five, man. I'm going to come with the Mammoth biggest hit they ever had, Out of Time, 1991 release. Uh, Losing My Religious, Shiny Happy People, Near Wild Heaven, which is a great song. Radio song is good. Uh, Texarkana, Country Feedback, Me and Honey. Yeah, I like it. This is like some of the peak there. But yeah, I think this is one of their biggest. When they were kind of at their peak. I guess the songs maybe not. People don't like them as much as some, but I thought it was so I liked it. It was number five for me.
See, we're one off. That's my number four out of time. 91. That to me that felt like the R.E.M. comeback album, like the Neil Young comeback album. I think that same year. It's Crazy Horse. And I was over in Spain, man, at the time. And I tell you what, R.E.M. hit like a mofo in Spain with that album. You couldn't go into a disco without hearing the disco
Loose
version of Losing My Religion. And then also they played the shit out of that KRS-One where he gave the intro.
radio song,
Yeah,
yeah.
radio song. And then like my
Shot
favorite song on
18,
that
the
one, this is my number four
B-52.
I'm talking about, but Near Wild Honey. Oh my God, I love it. I think Mike
Oh,
Mills sang.
near Wild Heaven. Yeah, it's a great song.
They're near
Great
Wild
vote.
Heaven. We're near Wild Heaven, yeah. And there was another
What a
song
great.
there, Wild Honey or something, but yeah, that's my number
Yeah,
4. And it's money I had it like it's actually well, okay, that's my number 4.
that's your number 4.
Yep.
Okay, let me go with my. Let me give you my number 4 if I got it here. I don't have it here. I've got the talking about my number 4s. Don't go back to Rockville, baby. The Reckoning, which I think it's slightly overrated. I think it's an overrated album. I like it, but I think some of the songs aren't near. Again, they're moving on Harbor Code, Seven Chinese Brothers. It's okay. I'm sorry. Pretty Persuasion. That's a total like mumble song. You can mumble
Yeah.
through.
It's overrated when you look back on
It is Little America. Letter Never Sent Camera. Second Guess It. That's one that I don't. I've never bought it on vinyl because I've never thought, boy, I want to hear that one again. It just kind of was a. I remember it was being. Everybody liked it, but I remember it seemed to me like it was playing it safe after
it.
Murmur because I like Murmur a whole lot.
Yeah.
I was kind of treading water. I actually like I said,
And
I
like
like
Murmur
Fable.
and Reckoning came out like 83, 84. Chronic Town 82. It was like bing, bing, bang. I was like, when
Yeah,
I,
look at
yeah, my first, like, I first heard of them, was Murmur. And then
I really
I like bands
always
and I only have to catch up one album.
yeah,
Unlike,
really I should probably move Fables up to number 3 and move the other two, Murmur back one and Out of Time back
do you
one
remember,
because
I feel sorry for
I like
kids today. I mean, like, even with
huh?
us, you and I, when we were back in high school, once we got into Led Zeppelin or The Who, oh, I got 3 albums to catch up in. 4 albums
No,
to
yeah,
catch up on.
yeah. Well, you got to
Nowadays,
know.
it's like, my God, you got them all to catch up on.
Oh, you're not kidding. You're not
Okay,
kidding. What number?
my number three
What
is
was that?
Chronic Town. Or were you not done? I'm sorry.
No, I was done. Number 3 is
Okay, my
Chronic
number
Count.
3 is Chronic Town. And like I said, I hit Tennessee, Tullahoma, right in the middle, the 80s, halfway between Atlanta and Nashville. And I had a record store guy turn me on to Murmur. So for me, Murmur, Reckoning, and Chronic Town talk. But my number 3 is Chronic Town. And I mean, I just loved it. I played that over and over. I mean, songs like I Could Live a Million. I loved how he never said a million what? Seconds, years,
I
lashes.
could sleep
I
a
mean,
million.
yeah, Sleep a Million. And then, like gardening at night. To me, that was always someone who's growing weed. He's out there gardening at night. Why would you be gardening at night? Because you're doing something illegal. And I love that about their songs because, like, they made no sense. So, like, whatever I thought that song meant, it meant to me and it was always meant. And, like, Wolves, lower. Like, they never put out Wolves
What?
Higher.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah,
like
yeah.
lowercase. I love their graphics and stuff and the gore. Like you said, it's just like they had me. That's my number 3, Chronic Town.
Number 3 is going to be the one I was talking to you about, the one before, which is goes knock knock, two headed pilgrimage, escape attention. I love it, man. I love this record. I put this in my Mrs. Murmur. I put this in my one catapult. West of the Fields, Laughing.
Um,
Radio Free Europe, of course, is on here, but that's Sitting Still.
and I had
I love
never
you.
that cover. I had never seen that till I moved to Tennessee. That is kudzu.
Yeah,
You see that everywhere. It covers
it's nice.
everything.
Talk about the
Yep.
passion.
That's your number.
Perfect circle.
That's your
It's
number
a piano.
2 or 3.
Huh?
That's your number 3.
That's my number 3, and you're talking about Mitch Easter, Don Dixon, man. Fantastic. And it
Which
probably should.
I'm not too sure. Which is the one where they recorded the pool balls upstairs, and it starts the one song.
But yeah, with
Shaking
Murmur.
through.
Yeah, 9-9, I think, in
No,
Shaking
no,
Through. Yeah,
something like I always just remember
yeah,
reading about that
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
They were like doing anything they wanted. I think that'd be so cool here in a recording studio. Okay, my number 2. My number 2, Reckoning. I mean, they had, like I said, they came at once. I love South Central Rain, man. And like I was living in Tennessee and left people Don't go back to Rockville. Rockville was close enough to where I came from. I could see that. And like, I didn't want to go back to Rockville. And like another song on there that just killed it for me. I had these childcraft books when I grew up, when I was little, and they had that poem in there about seven Chinese brothers. And one of them swallowed the sea, and one of them did something else. So when I saw this song, Seven Chinese Brothers Swallow, I'm like, I know that. I saw that nursery rhyme. So, little things like that would hit you through in the album. And then time after time. I mean, this fucking album, I bet you between Murmur, Reckoning, Chronic Town, my first 2 years in Tennessee, I played them 50 times a week. But that's my number two, Reckoning.
Number two. Wow. And it's probably should be raised higher on mine. My number two, we're going to go back to one that I talked about before that we had, and that's going to be Lace Rich Pageant is my number two. I like
Oh,
Cuyahoga, Flowers of Guatemala, like you say. These days, I believe Hyena begin to be.
okay.
Follow me. I know I understand Swan H is not so great. What if we give it away? I don't mind.
We
You
need
know,
skin.
I like this record. I think this record kind of hit it well. I think they were
Did
in a
you
good
ever
spirit.
did you ever see when they talked to the guy that like they redid his song Superman? I always thought that was cool. He made a boatload of money out of nowhere.
He did.
Yeah, he had never heard of R.E.M. and like until they redid his song Superman.
Incredible.
And I'm sure when the royalty checks started coming in, he was the biggest R.E.M. fan ever.
Yeah, this is the silver version here. Score Superman being the big one on here. But
Oh
I
my
didn't
God!
realize that was man.
And
I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know it was a cover of like an obscure guy. I knew it was a cover, but I didn't know it was like.
where
I
you
thought
see
it was
how weird
old.
their covers and all were. That was part of that. I think Murmur and Reckoning both might have
Yeah,
been done by Howard Finster. He was this old guy down in Georgia that was like real religious, but he did folk art. My girlfriend and I actually went to his house. If you watch the video, Athens, Georgia, Inside Out, I walked through
yeah,
that garden with all his little whirly gigs, he
wow,
called them. Oh my God, he had them
yeah.
for sale for $30 and nothing. I didn't buy anything. I look back now, I don't even want to say what you look online, Howard Finster stuff. But I remember like he had, I think, and if you were in the R.E.M. Fan club, you got the weirdest stuff every year. I remember, like one year for Christmas, it was Little Elvis. It was this painting that Howard Finster did. Stipe would sign it and all of them. But I gotta, look, I have all the fan
Christmas
club
records.
singles they would send you at every Christmas. You'd get them, and then they would send you stuff like you just get a package, and it might be like a set list from Dusseldorf, Germany, which I have one where they scribbled it off on one of the tours. But I
Nice.
digress. I think we're up to my number one, right? Is there
You,
any
did we already
doubt?
do my Lights Rich Pageant? Yep, that's my number two. Your
Okay,
number
my
one.
number one, Murmur, baby. With the
There it is.
kudzu on the cover and Radio Free Europe. Talk about the passion. Oh my God, the songs on there, I listen
Laughing.
to them so much. And I remember it was
World Key.
the same time I was in the bands like Lone Justice and Rank and File and
Too. I
R.E.M.
love.
It was just a time in my freaking life when I did love the jingly jangly bands. And this was the
Love.
number one.
Yeah, I love that first record.
Catapult, catapult. And the words, you could make them whatever they did. Like, I remember shaking through. To me, that was
Yeah.
just like what I had to do every day when I put my uniform on and go in and pretend I was an Air Force officer instead of a guy who just wanted to go and see bands in Nashville on the weekend.
It really sounds like
Sitting
Pilgrim.
still, wasting time sitting still.
Yeah,
Those lyrics hit me so hard at that time.
Pilgrimage.
Yep,
Something about
pilgrimage. That's,
the
uh,
first. Hey, we can do this. You can tell they're like Newland Studio or something. They're like, hey, that's cool.
and then like I
It's
said,
just
yeah, and through REM, I got into Pylon, Love Tractor, Kill Kenny Cats. Like I said, when they did it, anyone, if you can get a copy of Athens, Georgia Inside Out, I think they have a soundtrack and a video. It's well worth watching. The Barbecue Killers.
well, man. That only needs for my number one, man. And my number one's going to be one that I said I was surprised that you were so far down, and you know what it is. Automatic for the people, baby. Number one. I like it because it's different. I like it
Lord.
because I like it. I know it has a lot of. I know it has a lot of stuff. I know it has a lot of stuff that got Man on the Moon and stuff that got popular later. But I just something about it. Drive. There's something about Sweetness Follows. I like Find the River a lot. I like Night Swimming a lot. I know it's Ignore Land. I guess
I
it's
like
been
it.
over.
Was Man in the Moon, was that in the movie, Andy
Oh
Kaufman
yeah,
movie? I thought so.
yeah,
I thought,
yeah. It was just was a. This is back when they were all together. They decided they were going to go acoustic, and it was kind of weird. It was almost like Dylan at the time deciding he was going to go. That people were surprised at it,
yeah.
but then
Somebody's like
no,
Michael Stipe, he was so artistic and everything. It's like, why did you keep R.E.M. going on so long? You think they would have quit when Barry did it. But, then who am I to say? It was their job. Like, I listened to them in a time in my life. It was a soundtrack, and I didn't have to keep it going. A lot of bands that hang around so long is amazing. That's like when you told me to do this, it was, I knew I'd bought all the albums and then, they've been releasing, but I knew I wasn't familiar. So it's kind of
it's
cool.
it's yeah, Automatic for the People kind of co-aligned with that Unplugged MTV thing too. Maybe it inspired it, to
And
kind of happen.
I guess R.E.M. had the last laugh, and they can say, "Screw you, hack from Kaiser." Every album on the bottom of my list was a higher chart position than every album on the top of my list. That's amazing.
Me too. When
How
you
does
think about
how
it,
does how does Reveal beat out Murmur?
well, here it is: Collapsing and Now Five, Accelerate Two. These are all the
Jeez.
top 10. Accelerate 2, Reveal 6, Up 3, New Adventures in Hi-Fi 2, Monster 1, Automatic for the People 2, Out of Time 1, Green was 12,
And I'll
Document
say
10,
this: there would have been none of those albums without Chronic talent
Lace for
and
Passion
Murmur.
20, Murmur 36.
Have you seen their videos that they released? I used to buy all that stuff. It was like I used to get pissed off. That's when the first time I started getting pissed off at R.E.M. I'd buy, like video for every video for Reckoning, and then you get it. It's literally like 65 minutes of kudzu and trains and stupid
Oh,
shit.
yeah. The ones they made for,
A little
yeah,
too artsy fartsy once you pay for it.
Dan.
But who am I to
What,
judge art?
not, yeah, not as bad as that Replacements when we were talking about that.
Oh, well, I
The
love
same
that.
here.
Just the speakers.
Yep, yep.
The
Well,
Replacements should have wrote a song cutting our nose off to spite our face.
yeah, that's true. That's
You can be too cool for school.
That's right. Well, you always can be. Hey, man, we're going to come back with the songs, and then we're going to do the Utopia thing up here next on this. And I appreciate you. Everybody appreciate you coming by, man. Thank
Oh,
you for
I love
this.
it. What else am I going to
And
do on a 12-degree day, Saturday in Kaiser, West
yeah,
Virginia?
thank God. I've been doing it for a while now. We got some stocked up now, so we're ready to go, man. Here with the refrigerators full.
Yep, go
So we're gonna,
Steelers.
yeah. Let's hope we can pull one tonight, man. I'm telling you what, it's bad.
My son's a
And
Ravens fan. It's
you
hard.
see the women lost at Oklahoma State right before we came on here. They
Oh,
went
I
out there
like
and did the
Iowa
same.
State. If I root for you, it's kiss of death. Uh,
Yeah,
I thought Texas Tech was going to take down Iowa State. We
yeah.
digress.
This game, yeah, it's going to be big too. This is a basketball game. Anyway, everybody, thanks a lot. You guys,
Rock and
thanks for tuning.
roll. No matter how old.
Leave your Please leave your list. Tell us, hit the like button. Please hit that like button. Hit the like button, please, a million times for us. Thank you, and we appreciate you being on board. Please leave your thoughts and your comments, your list, anything you think about it below. And again, we always appreciate you on board, man. Thank you.